The story begins in the northwestern region of the Clay Kingdom, where our protagonist, Noor, is preparing medicine for his dying mother. She drinks the medicine and expresses her gratitude for his constant care. But Noor then tells her that he will go feed the sheep and promises not to venture outside the barrier. He also mentions bringing back some fruits and rabbit meat for soup. However, his mother starts coughing and a worried Noor goes to boil water for her, but she stops him. She then wipes his dirty face and apologizes for not being able to give him more, telling him that he at least deserves to choose how he lives his life. The scene then shifts to Noor making soup at night with the rabbit meat and fruits he gathered. But when he takes it to his mother, he tries to wake her up and she doesn't respond. Devastated, he realizes that she has been sent to meet his father. So the next day, Noor makes a grave for his mother next to his father's and mourns in silence. After this traumatic event, Noor spends his days catching prey, caring for his cattle, organizing his home, and reading books. Each day is filled with these tasks, and he feels lonely when he isn't working. One day, he finds an old book in his house and remembers that his father used to read it to him when he was a child. His father would tell him tales of adventurers who could lift curses from forests, study magic to become powerful magicians, band together to defeat colossal monsters, and secure all-curing elixirs from the Spirit King. These stories have fascinated Noor, and he would constantly pester his father for more. Back in the present, Noor recalls his mother's words about choosing his own path, so he decides he wants to become an adventurer. The next day, he lays out a large amount of feed for his cattle and says his farewells to his parents' graves before setting off on his first journey to the city to become an adventurer. Hesitantly, he leaves the barrier around his home and after days of solitary travel, reaches the city. Entering the city, he asks the gate guards for directions to the guild, and they point him in the right direction. Inside the city, Noor is awestruck by the unfamiliar sights and is excited by everything he sees. He then goes to the Adventurers Guild, where the guild master tries to dismiss him, saying it's no place for kids. However, Noor explains that the gatekeeper sent him there to become an adventurer and mentions that both his parents are 5 feet under. When asked for his name, he introduces himself and the guild master tells him he should start at the training school if he wants to be an adventurer, but warns he might have trouble fitting in due to his age. Clueless about what a training school is, Noor asks for an explanation. The guildmaster tells him that everyone aspiring to join the royal capital's Adventurers Guild must choose a training school, pick an adventurer class, and train. He also mentions that Noor will need to learn useful skills like sword techniques and magic. This excites Noor, and the scene cuts to him at a swordsman training school. He dreams of becoming a hero who can slay a mountain-sized dragon with a single strike and trains diligently in swordsmanship, watching enviously as other students start to awaken their sword skills one by one. Several months later, everyone in the training schools has managed to learn some skills, but Noor has not made much progress. Despite his persistent training, his instructor tells him to stop, stating that he is wasting his time as a talentless bum. Seeing that Noor has only learned to parry, his instructor advises him to try another path, suggesting that other training schools might better suit him. Noor then enrolls in the warrior school, thinking it would be cool to stand on the front lines and protect his allies. However, after several months of grueling training, he also makes no progress. His instructor tells him to quit as he has only managed to learn a bit of physical enhancement. Fearing injury if he continues, Noor leaves and tries the hunter training school next. He fails there as well, with the instructor telling him he is not cut out to handle delicate tools like bows. Determined, Noor attempts the magician training school, but after extensive training, he can only cast a small flame that might struggle to light a candle. He then tries the thieves training school, but even after training there for a while, he can't get the hang of disarming traps, picking locks, or detecting presences. Lastly, he tries the cleric training school, but has no luck there either. After months of training, he only managed to learn the spell Low Heal, which is barely capable of treating scrapes. Disheartened, Noor returns to the guild, where the guild master is surprised to learn that Noor hasn't learned much despite months of training. The guild master tells him he doesn't have what it takes to be an adventurer. Feeling like a talentless loser, Noor leaves the city in disappointment. Back in his house, he tells his parents' graves that he has no talent for adventuring but refuses to give up. He decides to try harder than anyone else and crafts himself a wooden sword. Recalling his sword instructor's words, Noor focuses on honing his parry skill. He states that he will spend his days and nights perfecting this one skill and begins training intensely. A year passes and Noor can now deflect 10 swords at once with his parry skill. Although he hasn't developed any new skills, he feels he is making progress. 3 more years pass and Noor has trained his parry skill to deflect 100 swords at once. Despite still not developing a new skill, he remains undeterred and continues his relentless training. He trains so hard that he even breaks his sword, healing his scratches with his Low Heal spell. 10 more years go by and Noor can now parry 1,000 swords at once. He hasn't missed a single day of training in the last 14 years, and he hasn't learned a single new skill. Determined, Noor decides to return to the city. The scene then cuts to Noor at the Adventurers Guild, where the staff checks his skills and finds that he has Parry, Physical Enhancement, Stone Throw, Feather Step, Tiny Flame, and Low Heal. Upon seeing Noor's skills, the receptionist questions if he truly wants to register with such unimpressive abilities. She explains the training school system and how it can enhance his skill set, but Noor mentions he's already trained under all of them. This puts the receptionist in an awkward position, and Noor realizes he won't be able to join the guild. He soon wonders if there's any way for him to become an adventurer. But at that moment, the guild master arrives and has a hard time recognizing the grown-up Noor, but eventually does. Noor explains what he's been doing all these years, and the guild master is shocked that despite all his training, Noor has only managed to improve his parry skill slightly. The guild master then explains that adventurers are ranked from S to E, with E being the lowest rank. To register as an E-ranked adventurer, one needs at least one useful skill, which Noor lacks. Noor starts to lose hope and thinks about giving up on his dream, but the guild master mentions there's a lesser-known rank below E, F rank. Noor is excited to learn that he can join the guild as an F-ranked adventurer. So the guild master explains the conditions, telling him that he won't be able to take on hunting or gathering jobs outside the city and can only do odd jobs within the city's borders. This rank was created for beggars to help them earn a living. But despite the limitations, Noor insists on joining as an F-ranked adventurer. Surprised, the guild master registers him, and Noor is thrilled to receive his adventurer card. Noor begins taking on odd jobs around the city, completing them one by one using his limited skills. He also continues his sword training and helps people throughout the city. One evening, while sitting by a fire, he reflects on achieving his dream of becoming an adventurer who helps others. He knows that wishing for more with his skill set would be impossible, but he remains content with his progress. One day, Noor helps an old woman clean her drains and later continues to work at a construction site before soon noticing a light shining in a cave. Hearing cries for help, he rushes to the cave and finds a minotaur about to demolish a girl. Some knights can be seen protecting her, but they are no match for the gigantic monster. To save the girl, Noor distracts the minotaur using his rock throw skill, and the monster chases Noor, attacking him repeatedly, but Noor parries each blow. As his sword takes damage, Noor realizes he needs to find an opening, but he knows he can't defeat the minotaur without an offensive skill. The minotaur tries to attack the girl again, but Noor uses Feather Step and Parry to protect her, destroying his sword in the process. Determined to protect the girl, Noor recalls his father's words about what it means to be an adventurer. This time, when the minotaur attacks Noor again, he parries its strike, causing the minotaur's axe to slip from its hand and behead the monster. Exhausted, Noor realizes he would have died if the fight had continued any longer, and the girl thanks him for saving her life, asking for his name. However, he humbly replies that he isn't worth remembering and leaves like a Chad. Not long after, some knights arrive to rescue the girl, and Noor returns to town, reflecting on his near-death experience and realizing that he needs to train even harder. The scene shifts back to the aftermath of Noor's battle with Yerman in the cave. There, a knight apologizes to Princess Lin for not being there to protect her, but Lin reassures her, saying there's no point in having an escort during the trials for the right to the throne. She explained that she chose to go alone and apologizes to the Night Inns for making her worry. Lin's brother, Rien, learns about the incident and suspects that someone must have summoned the Minotaur to the city. He explains Minotaurs are demons that reside in the abyss, the deepest layer of the dungeon, so someone had to bring it to the surface. A Dark Knight also agrees with Rien, explaining that the source seems to be a ring found on the corpse of a merchant at the scene. But when an old mage analyzed the ring, he found that it contained a high-quality stone not available on the market. The crest on the stone indicated the ring originated from the magic empire of Darius. He soon explained that this isn't the first time Darius has antagonized them. This time, they summon a monster and bound Princess Lin with a barrier, mentioning that they must be cautious as Darius aims to eliminate Lin and seize the kingdom's most valuable resource, the relics of the Dungeon of the Lost. Rien soon shifts the conversation to the mysterious man who saved Lin, stating that the man used a single broadsword and defeated the Minotaur in seconds. But when the knights followed him, he vanished before their eyes like an illusion. Back at the guild, the old clerk is shocked to see Noor alive, having heard that a demon appeared near the dungeon entrance. He stated that the demon was unlike any seen before, and Noor was thought to be missing afterward. Noor, thinking about the strange people who had followed him, tells the clerk he was just tired and went home. The clerk soon remarks that Noor is lucky not to have encountered the demon, stating even an A rank like himself would have lost his life against it. However, assuming the clerk is referring to a different monster, Noor says he only fought a big cow-like creature. But the clerk soon reveals that a mysterious man defeated the demon with one blow, leaving Noor amazed that such people exist. The clerk then pays Noor for his work and wonders why Noor isn't interested in taking a proper job. This confused Noor, so the clerk explained that he could earn 30% more without the clerk taking a cut. Just then, Princess Lin appears, and the clerk is shocked to see her. She explains that she used her long-distance detection skill to find Noor and apologizes for doing so as she felt that it was necessary to meet him. Initially, he thought that she had thief skills, but soon learns that Lin focuses on magic and has knowledge of all 6 skill systems. She suggests they talk outside to avoid eavesdropping, using her soundproofing and concealment spell, causing the clerk to be uneasy, wondering what trouble Noor has gotten into. Outside, Noor overhears people talking about the mystery man, speculating if he even exists. However, Lin reassures him not to worry as they can't be detected. She explains she wanted to thank him for saving her life and notes that he saved many others in the nation too. But Noor, being her humble king, downplays his role, saying that Lin is strong and he just happened to interfere. Lin then insists she wouldn't have survived without him, so Noor finally accepts her thanks. She then offers to compensate him with her deepest gratitude, but our humble king tells her that it's not necessary. Lin then mentions that her father wants to thank Noor personally, but Noor insists that's too much. She then explains that being of high status, she must properly express her gratitude to the person who saved her life. But when Noor rejects all her offers, saying he doesn't need anything, Lin becomes frustrated and begins to cry. She declares that Noor is obligated to accept her gratitude, refusing to move until he does. This, however, reminds Noor of his determination during his training days, and he agrees to her demands since simply meeting her father doesn't seem like much trouble. But Noor is surprised when Lin becomes very cautious, using concealment, detection, occlusion, and multiple other skills to hide them as they travel. He is soon awestruck by the size of her house, but Lin dismisses it as common for her family. He then introduces himself, and Lin also formally introduces herself as Linbird Clays, though she goes by Lin while adventuring. Inside, Lin asks Inns, who is not just a maid but a knight, about her father's whereabouts. She then explains that he is speaking with Rein, and Lin introduces Noor as her special guest, the one who saved her life. Initially skeptical, Inns decides to take them to Lin's father. Noor soon realizes that Inns is much more than a maid, especially given her serious demeanor. As they proceed, a man named Gilbert confronts Noor, questioning who he is. However, Inns informs Gilbert that Noor is their special guest. Gilbert, recognizing Noor as the person everyone is searching for, remains skeptical, but agrees to accompany them, revealing he shares Inns' doubts. Elsewhere, the king is upset that Darius is ignoring the peace treaty, demanding rights to the dungeon and offering military power in return. The king, however, knowing that this would ruin his nation, refused, but Darius threatened retaliation. They soon arrive with Noor, who fails to notice that everyone is bowing to her father and walks right up to him. However, Rein is furious upon seeing Lin wearing the hermit's cloak, realizing she went outside. But Lin explains that she had to find her savior and introduces Noor to her father. Lin's father is glad Noor came and listens, as Noor explains that he's not a noble and doesn't know proper etiquette. But shockingly, Lin's father prefers it this way, finding Noor easier to talk to and formally thanks him for saving his daughter. Noor accepts the gratitude, relieved that it's finally over and ready to head home. However, Lin's father insists on rewarding him properly, offering money and land. Initially, Noor declines, stating he doesn't want anything like that. But the king then offers treasures from the dungeon, explaining that their country possesses the world's oldest dungeon with incredibly rare treasures, offering to let Noor take half of the items stored in the treasure hall. Rein is shocked by his father's generosity and points out that he's being way too generous. However, Noor once again declines, saying he doesn't need anything fancy and their kind words are enough. Lin's father, unsure of what to give a man who doesn't want money, land, or treasure, resorts to his most extreme offer, the sword behind his throne. This made Rein wonder what his father was thinking, but the king explains that the sword has become a mere decoration. He explained that giving it to Noor would be better than letting it sit unused, and no one will notice if it's replaced with a replica. No one can believe that the king is giving Noor the sword, and Noor himself is shocked by how heavy it is, declaring that he can't accept such a priceless gift. However, the king insists, explaining that it's just something he picked up and used because he liked it. Reluctantly, Noor decides to accept it, and Lin's father encourages him to try it out. Noor soon enhances his strength and takes a powerful swing, shocking everyone. Impressed by how Noor was able to swing it one-handed, the king asks if he can help toughen up his daughter. But Noor doesn't think there's anything he can teach Lin and believes that Lin should decide for herself. The king completely agrees and laughs heartily. Soon after, Noor decides it's time for him to leave, and Lin's father thanks him once again. As Noor leaves, he can't help but think that he's been given something very valuable. He realizes that the sword is the same width as the drain he always cleans for an old lady and wonders if it would make his job easier. Suddenly, Inz appears to speak with Noor. He wonders if he's in trouble, but is shocked when Inz takes a knee and apologizes for treating him poorly, especially since he saved Lin's life. Noor quickly accepts her apology and she explains that her job is to protect the Clay family above all else. Realizing that she isn't a maid, Inz reveals that she's known as the Divine Shield and serves as the vice captain of the Clay Family Warrior Corps. At a very young age, she was appointed as Lin's shield, tasked with protecting her even at the cost of her own life. Noor doesn't think it's that big of a deal, but Inz vows to help him however she can from now on. He finds everyone's reactions excessive, but decides to accept her sentiment. But suddenly, Inz gets very serious. She then points out that while Lin may have allowed it, Noor's casual behavior towards the king was unacceptable, and she cannot allow it anymore. She then demands that he refrain from such behavior in the future. He then apologizes and formally introduces himself, but Inz is shocked to hear his name is Noor. However, as Noor is about to go home, Gilbert suddenly stops him from going home and demands that he show what he can do in battle. This then concludes the second episode's recap of this anime. If you enjoyed this video and want more of it, go ahead and hit that like button down below and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone for helping us in reaching 5,000 subscribers. Let's continue to grow this community and help us reach a new goal of 10,000 subscribers.